Hello, and welcome to another M42 Adventures Podcast. I am your host, Rick Trimmer, and today I love these episodes. They are the Ask Me Anything episodes, and we do one a month. We try to do one a month. We tried to do one a few weeks ago. We tried to do them at the first of the month, so there's going to be a couple here right in a row, separated by a couple, but basically I try to record these at the first of every month to keep people in the loop. A lot of people have questions, wondering what we're doing here, and this is a good way to address that. So we had a technical difficulty a few weeks ago. Ricky, our producer, became sick, and we had to cancel that episode. And so we threw in one that we had in the hopper. He is feeling much better. He's in the studio here today, so we're grateful for that. And that's what this is about. So we've got questions from several different people. I've got my phone here. I've got papers here. They come in from different ways, and we're just going to jump into them. I have not read them. I don't know anything. I've read through them a little bit, but not much, just for a few seconds, just to understand where I'm going and kind of the direction. So they're fresh. I got them this morning, and we're going to jump into this. So this is Ask Me Anything, Rick Trimmer, M42 Adventures Podcast, and we are going to dive into these. So no particular order. They're going to be random. They're just coming from everybody. So let's see. I'm going to start out with this one. Inspiration. Who inspires you the most right now, and how are they influencing your journey? Who's influencing me the most right now? Probably Ryan Mickler would be a good one. He's a partner in M42 Adventures, so he's an actual owner in this. He's a big reason we were able to launch this, get the studio set up, things like that. And he's obviously, 12 years ahead of me in this realm. I am not from the podcasting influencer coaching world. My world is construction. And so Ryan has been a big influence on the direction of this company and what we're doing here and how it's going. And so that would be the biggest one today of on the business aspect. Personal, I would probably say my parents would be probably my biggest inspiration. They're in their 70s now, and they just keep traveling. They keep living life. I always tell them how shocked I am. They are busier than I am, and I'm very busy. I think in 2024, I was home probably 2 or 3 weekends. We always do something one way or another. We go out of town and do something, even when we're here at home. And they're just going crazy. They do tons of stuff. They came to Africa with me this year. Anyway, they went on tons of adventures this year. And so that always inspires me that you can keep going into your later stages of life if you plan your finances, if you work on your health, if you have, good mental and a mental foundation. They're happy people. They're grateful. They always remain grateful. They've gone through hard times, and so they don't take anything for granted. They're grateful for their health and the money they have and the relationships they have and life. One of my dad's big things is he's been talking a lot about his mortality the last few years. As you get older, I'm sure it does affect you. Your body starts breaking down and different things. And he doesn't want to go. He wants to stay here and keep living this fun life, hunting things. That's his passion, spending time with family and kids and grandkids. And and that's a big inspiration to me, that if you keep a good foundation of what matters. They're religious people, which, again, I'm not real religious, but I am spiritual. I still believe that you should, treat people well and be a good neighbor and all those different things. And so they have they just have a good life. And I've emulated it really close. They have a 50-acre ranch. I have a 40-acre ranch. Different things that I've tried to, I think almost subconsciously followed in their footsteps. I really didn't even put it together till just recently. But anyway, that's number 7. That was question number 1. It's number 7 on my list. So the next one, let's jump into this one. This one's kind of a random one. A couple weeks ago, I was fortunate enough to have Greg Godfrey, one of the founders of Nitro Circus, come stay at my ranch. And so this question is, what are the Godfreys like? Obviously, this person was following my stories, personal stories on Instagram and social media. And I did some videos of us flying helicopters and, riding in side-by-sides and just having a good time. And so he's asking what they were like. And they were great people. I've been a fan of Nitro Circus for a long, long time. I tried to actually see them in New Zealand when I was there and couldn't get to where they were in the city. They were on the North Island. I was on the South Island. And then when we went to Australia, months later, they were back over there. And so I've always been a fan of Travis Pastrana and, Greg Godfrey. He's from Utah, so I knew they were local boys. And I loved their videos, their antics, the way they live life. They're just crazy, literally crazy to me. And so when we got together, I says, hey, come out to my place, bring your family. They came out for Thanksgiving, his whole family. I think there was like 15 of them there, which my cabin's pretty tight. They made it work. And they stayed for a few nights. And I went out and visited them for a couple days. And wonderful people, and that's the reason I wanted to meet Greg was not necessarily from the Nitro Circus and all the things. I saw a video of him a few months ago where he did a video on Father's Day. And that's his greatest accomplishment. And he, if you get a chance, go on YouTube and look that up. It was a beautiful segment. And I was like, man, this is a good person. And I told Greg that, when we were out there hanging out, I'd never met him before, didn't know who he was other than online. And once we got to know each other better, I says my life, this chapter of my life, I'm looking at, I've quote unquote mastered the financial world. I'm financially, safe. And so I'm like, what's next? What's the next? That was a big part of my life, trying to, get out of debt and make money. And once I did that, it's like I need a new purpose. And this purpose is M42 Adventures. That's what it is. That's what I'm trying to do, is help people, mentor people in finances and all the other things that we do with the Genesis and M42. And I told him that my goal for 2025 is to go on these experiences that M42 is putting on, my own personal experiences with people that I love and care about, and then also to meet new people that inspire me and that are good people. And I told Greg that. I didn't know if he was going to be a jerk or, anything like that. He was not. He was a great person, very, very nice family, brought all of his kids and grandkids, and just a great family, just good values, good people, very respectful, very nice. You can tell pretty quick when you meet people, they're trying to help carry firewood into the cabin, and they were just good, grounded people. And that's what I want for the next few years of my life, is to meet cool, genuinely nice. I don't need to meet rich people. That doesn't impress me. I want to meet people that are good, people that are out there trying to change the world. He actually just started a community as well. I can't remember the name of it offhand, but he's trying to do that as well. He loves talking about mental health, is what he's passionate about. And so we're going to hopefully get him on the podcast here in January, and we'll talk more about that. But yeah, they were amazing. It was a great time. We had fun. We flew helicopters. Jeremy Johnson, my buddy, he brought out his helicopter. We flew around. Absolutely wonderful day. Just good time. Couldn't ask for a better day. So yeah. All right. So next, let's see. This question is, do we have any plans for new mentors in the Genesis? So for those of you who don't know, the Genesis is our online community. And we've got 77 people in there now. It's been open for about 90 days. It's growing leaps and bounds. It's doing very well. We actually just announced today we were going to start charging for it in January, $97 a month. We obviously have a lot of costs here associated with it. And my partners and myself decided to pick up the tab for at least the first 6 months of 2025. So, that was something where we kind of wanted to put our money where our mouth is, and we really sincerely at M42 Adventures want to change the world. We want to change lives. We want to, inspire people and get them off the couch and get them on these adventures and help them with their finances and help them with their, physical health and their mental health and their relationships, and help them with self-defense, with, martial arts or firearms, and just, help them learn how to go camping, go hiking, go golf, all things outdoors. And that's genuinely what we're trying to do. And so anyway, I digress, but for new mentors, we have one that we're talking to. She is a guide here in Southern Utah at Zion National Park. Amazing person. We're going to have her on the podcast as well. I haven't finalized that one, but I'm hoping that I can. She's been an avid hiker for years and years. And so we're trying to add a hiking mentor. Right now we have 6 mentors. So we have travel, finances, relationships, spirituality and mental health, firearms, outdoor cooking, motocross, and I'm missing martial arts and self-defense. So Teague Vanderbeek, he just came on like a week and a half ago. These are all certified people. I mean, these aren't just my friends or people. I actually don't know most of them. Met them through networking and trying to find the right people that are qualified, that have motocross academies and that we're professional motocross riders. He's teaching our and I forgot Damien, our motorcycle channel. He's going to be teaching us everything about motorcycles. And Chase with our firearm, he owns Top Shot Academy here in Southern Utah. Certified with firearms. These aren't people that are just like guns or they like hiking. These are people who do it for a living, certified, passionate, and that's the people we're looking for and that I'm looking for. This is, again, a selfish thing. I want M42 Adventures to be something that I want to be a part of and go on these adventures, go on these hikes in Zion National Park, or go fishing in Alaska, or go surfing in Costa Rica, or go golfing in Scotland. These are all things that we're putting together that I'm passionate about, and I think others will be too. So new mentors. There's 26 channels. We've got 5 or 6 mentors covering 8 to 10 channels. You can do the math. We're going to keep adding them. We're going to keep working on that. That's another reason why I didn't want to charge for the Genesis. Right now, I want to try to get all of the channels with a mentor. And that's, a big undertaking. It's a lot of people donating a lot of hours every month to train and teach. I'm the finance mentor and the travel mentor. And I spent several hours this month already because it's such a small group. There's 77 people in there, but only 15 of them want financial coaching. And so I can do one-on-one right now. And so I spent time with several people last week and this week going over their finances, digging in, and and that's a benefit of this being a smaller group. But eventually this will grow and we'll have to adapt it to accommodate bigger groups. But that's what's cool about right now is these mentors can kind of you can get in there and get some one-on-one time with them. So that's a beautiful thing. All right. Next question. I'm going to go to this one. Let's see. What's a bucket list experience you want to turn into an M42 Adventures event? Man, that one is so funny because I probably have like 30. I mean, that's the hard part with me and having traveled the last 8 years. I've been all around the world and I've seen so much, so many cool things that I want to go back and do with people that I've done. Scuba dive, the Great Barrier Reef, we went and did with my family. Spearfishing in Jamaica, we're testing out this year. We're going to look at maybe doing a spearfishing adventure in Jamaica. Argentina, a hiking, Patagonia experience. Mountain biking here in Southern Utah, I want to add. I mean, there is so many. Bucket lists are hard for me because I hate to say it, but I've done most of my bucket list. I really have. 8 years of full-time travel, I've done most of the experiences. So when it says, what's a bucket list you want to experience, I've experienced them, and then I just want to bring other people. I've, been in Scotland golfing, where it was founded. I've been fishing in Alaska for the last 12 years in a row. We did 2 experiences there this year, 2024, and we're doing 2 more next year. Float planes, hiking the glaciers, catching some fish, visiting the peony farms, some of the things that we have come to love, going to the farmer's market, getting food, coming back and cooking it. We love doing that. We've got a lot planned. It's hard. The hardest part is for me to narrow it down and then also to staff them and to make sure that they're done right. This year we're doing Costa Rica surf experience. And that's new for us. I'm excited about that one. So yeah, that's how I would answer that one. Let's go to, let's see, did that one. Okay. What is your favorite outdoor fire dish? This actually came from Chase. So Chase is our outdoor cooking mentor. And again, this isn't a guy who likes to, cook on a fire. He does. Don't get me wrong, but he is qualified. He went to and I'm going to get this wrong. He's in the room. So Chase, what is the
Le Cordon Bleu.
Le Cordon Bleu.
Le
Cordon Bleu. I know it's a sandwich, right?
Basically,
yes. That's what but went to a school. He told me the amount for the tuition. It is no joke, so did that, traveled all over the country, cooking in different restaurants in Vegas and all these different places, ran kitchens, helped with kitchens, and found that his passion, I think your passion's all of it, but you really like outdoor, right? You like the freedom.
Yeah, it gives a whole different dynamic feel and approach to the food and how people act about the food. There's less restrictions and more just experience.
Yeah, more freedom, more, it's one of those things where if I got a steak cooked wrong in a restaurant, you're going to address it. But if I get a steak cooked wrong in some of the places I've seen you cook near Zion National Park, it's like, I'm not even really looking at my steak, and it's like, which I know your steaks are cooked well, not well, but perfect.
Yes.
But again, my favorite outdoor dish, and I'm not a big outdoor cooker. I love it. I do enjoy it. That's why I'm excited for your mentoring and your classes and your experiences. We're looking at doing a outdoor cooking. My 50-acre ranch, and my parents have a 40-acre. My parents have a 50. Drives me crazy all the time. They're 10 acres bigger. Their ranch is up in the mountains, different environment, river running through it, green. Mine's like near Zion in the desert, so it's 2 completely different, but they're only about 40 minutes apart. We actually fly the helicopter back and forth, and it's about a 15-minute helicopter flight, and it's cool because we'll fly over there and pick them up and go for a flight or have lunch or something. And so they're very close, but completely different environments, and we're looking at starting a outdoor cooking experience, just a 1-day deal. You come out, you cook on the fire with Chase, and I cannot wait for that. I digress, but what I would say is my favorite outdoor dish. Hey guys, let's step away from this conversation real quick, and I wanted to talk to you about a couple things that we have going on at M42 Adventures. First and foremost is the Genesis. That's what we're putting all of our effort into. This is an online community. We actually have 75 members at the time of this recording, and it is growing very fast. We're very excited. We have, I think, 5 or 6 mentors in there teaching everything from finances, travel, mental health, relationships, motorcycles, self-defense, firearms. I mean, we've got a lot going on in there. Outdoor cooking. So these are professionals in this field. This is people who have been doing this for most of their lives that are going to be teaching us about these different things. And we're adding more all the time. So check out the Genesis. It's free for the month of December. And then we will start charging in January because we do have costs associated with it. And that's just the way it works. We hope to see you in there. Check it out. You can go to M42Adventures.com and sign up today. And it is completely free for the month of December. Also, I wanted to talk to you about a few experiences we have. We have sold most of them out for next year. We have 5 or 6 going on next year: Costa Rica, Alaska, Hawaii, Utah, and Africa. And we have a couple spots left for Africa. So the rest are all pretty much sold out. But if you want to come to Africa and go on a safari or a photo safari, we'd love to have you. Check it out. You can go to M42Adventures.com and read more about that. That's what we got going on. We're excited. We're excited to go into the new year, and we'll be start our second year in business. We've got a lot of big things planned. We got some really good giveaways going on. And so yeah, stay tuned. Let's get back to this conversation. So my favorite outdoor dish would be tinfoil dinners. And I know that's not crazy. There's nothing wild about that, but that's what I have grown up cooking my whole life with my family. That's just kind of our default, chicken, beef, carrots, potatoes. That for me is like my childhood. It's one of those kind of like the ratatouille off of Ratatouille. When we go have those, it reminds me of my childhood. And so that's probably my favorite outdoor dish as far as memories and things like that.
I've done ratatouille outdoors.
Have you?
Yeah.
I've never had ratatouille. Yeah, I've never had it. Yeah,
it's good.
That's
awesome.
If
you like vegetables.
Yeah, I would love it. All right. Okay, so what's the next question I'm going to go to is explain the logo. And this is a good one. I get this asked a lot. M42 Adventures. So we started out with a different name. It was called Exodus. And we designed everything. We had a cool logo, cool name, everything. And then we found out that it was being used by another company a couple months into it. Cost us quite a bit of money to change, which is fine. That was our fault. But we were trying to come up with something that is, memorable, but is out there. It's available. You can register it, trademark it. And so M42 Adventures, we really liked the Orion constellation. We wanted I liked stuff with, stars and outdoors, navigation, I was trying to do something with that. And everything Orion or anything star related is taken. And so we just kept going deeper and deeper. And M42 is basically the scientific name for the nebula that created Orion. So it's associated with Orion, and then the dots on the logo. The M is the mountains. It's mountains, M42, if you look at our logo. And then the constellation is Orion. And just something unique that is going to be memorable. We're actually working on a shirt that's just going to be that constellation. So that's what the logo is, and that's where we went. All right, let's see. So the next one I want to do is this one, work-life balance. How do you balance your drive for success with the need to stay grounded with your family? I'm actually pretty good at this one. It actually shocks a lot of people when I tell them. So I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. Started about a dozen companies and lost everything in the recession, built it back up. And when I had enough passive income that was double my bills at the time, I retired. So I came into my then partner at the time, which was my father, and I said, hey, I want to leave and travel the world for a while. And he's like, what's a while? And I'm like, I don't know, a year to forever. And he's like, well, that doesn't really work, And I says, well, I'll buy you out. So I ended up buying them out, gave them some property to buy them out, and became the sole owner. And then I had sold ownership to my employees, who took over the majority of the business, and I left. And I know that I actually got phone calls from friends, close friends, that were like, what are you doing? What are you doing leaving? That they were in such a good economic boom. There's so much more money to be made. And I said, I don't need more. And they're like, I remember one of my friends, the look on his face when I said that. I says, I have enough. And he's like, what does that mean? And I'm like, I have enough. And he's like, there's never enough. And I says, yeah, there is. I value my time over money, and money is a tool for me to buy back my time, which I'm doing. And so that was January of 2017. Haven't worked, quote unquote, since then. Came back in COVID, helped a little bit during then, just because I was stuck at home. And then M42, we've been home. The 2 times that I was home was when we had my third baby and now my wife's pregnant now. We came home just to have another child both times. And so we have to stay close, obviously, to the hospital. And so, that's how we've been home. But we are leaving here again in a few months. My baby's going to be born here in a month. And we've got plans. We're going to Costa Rica, Iceland, Japan. We got all these big plans to go keep traveling, with a 2-3-month-old infant. People think we're crazy. It's not a big deal. There's going to be 6 of us, four kids, 2 adults. And that's what we do. We just go figure it out and travel and enjoy life. And so the work-life balance for me has never been hard. I mean, I'm very capable of, setting that aside. My family is number one. My family and friends are number one. Money and my businesses are a way for me to get money to go spend more time doing these adventures and these fun things. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go live, quote unquote, the M42 lifestyle next year and do that for the next couple of years. My oldest is just turned 13. We feel like we can do that for another couple of years until we want him to be involved in sports and dances and things like that. So yeah, it's been very easy for me. There's really hasn't been hard. When I was working back in the day, I didn't balance it well. I worked 1,000 days in a row, and I had no work-life balance. It was work, to be honest. I missed my kids' first steps. I missed my kids' first words. I missed my, majority of my kids' Christmases, birthdays. And I struggled with that horribly. I would go to my dad and say, am I making a mistake here? And he said, if I didn't see what you're doing with your money, if you were just blowing it and, buying crap, I would say, yes, go home to your kid's birthday party. But I see you saving and grinding and saving and buying assets that are going to let you live a life that nobody else can even dream of. Well, I mean, not they can dream of it, but they probably can't achieve it without this kind of sacrifice. And so that's what we did. So I grinded for 6 years, and there was no balance. It was completely, the scale was tipped in favor of work. But then I was able to hang that hat up. And I for the last 8 years, I've been with my wife and kids and family and friends 90% of my time. So, so it's not always been there. If you're going through some struggles, if you're, got to make the house payment or put food on the table, then, you got to give a little bit more to work. That's the way it is. And that's life. Money makes the world go round, but be smart with it. The thing that I hate to see people do is go buy trucks they can't afford or houses they can't afford and chain themselves to these, they call them assets. I call them liabilities. A house can be an asset to an extent, but if it's you can't afford it, it's a liability. And then you are drowning, and it weighs on your relationships. It weighs on your health. It weighs on your mental health, physical health. And so you got to get that balance back out. And the best way to do that is try to make more money and try to spend less. Between those two things, you can usually dig out of the hole. And that's what I'm doing on my financial coaching, is helping people work through those individual problems. So, great question. I like that one. Okay, what do we got here? Explain the genesis a little better. Okay, so I'm going to not take a lot of time on this one. I'm going to try to go pretty fast. But the genesis, again, you heard me in the beginning. It's our online community. 77 members. We were going to start charging in January. We're waiving that. It's going to be free for at least the first 6 months of 2025. We're going to go as long as we can, I promise you. And it's basically where you come in. Everything's online now. It's a lot easier to get 77 people together on a Zoom call or, over email, different things. I've got friends that are in, Pennsylvania that I've never met, that we have met over Zoom. So it's an online community. You know what those are. Those are popular. And the way this one's different is we have 26, I think, channels. Those will kind of change and morph. But I think we have 26 channels right now. Golf, hunting, fishing, surfing, mountain biking, motorcycles, self-defense, outdoor cooking, finances, your relationships, your fitness, health, your physical health, your mental health. We call those the 4 pillars. Without those, obviously everything else kind of struggles if you can't afford to go on a experience or you're too unhealthy to go ride a mountain bike. So this is where we meet up. We can all meet up wherever we're at in the world. We have mentors in there that are qualified and certified to train the things that they are training us in. And so every month we get on there and we get to listen to Damian Plotz, a professional ex-motocross rider, talk about motorcycles. And, one month it's dirt bikes. The next month it's street bikes. The next month it's trail bikes. I mean, I've ridden motorcycles most of my life. And just in the few Zoom calls that we've done since this has started and Damian's come on, I've learned so much. How to be safer, how to get my kids into the sport without getting hurt, how to afford it, how to cut some costs, how to, what equipment to buy. And that goes on and on. That's in every channel. Firearms, I was using the wrong I went through a class to learn self-defense and I've got the wrong pistol. It's too small for my hands. And so Chase, our firearm instructor, who owns an academy here in Southern Utah and is a mentor in our community, is showing us how to, his Zoom yesterday or 2 days ago was, how to hold your pistol, how to draw it from your clothes if an intruder's coming, how to create a plan for your home. I actually went home and did this. I went home and said, hey, if somebody breaks in, what would you guys do? And they're like, scream. I'm like, no, you go to this room, you huddle down, and Daddy will go around and clear the house with his guns. But something that's probably common sense maybe to some people, but I hadn't thought about it. And these are things that we are learning. So there's a Zoom call with every mentor. So there's 10 Zooms already a month. My finance Zoom, we go in and we talk about finances, and then you can reach out individually to these mentors currently with the smaller group that we have. And some of them are able to do one-on-one coaching. So I'm actually one-on-one coaching individuals for an hour a month for free to help them with their finances. I mean, you have nothing to lose. You have nothing to lose except for maybe some time if it didn't become valuable, and then just bail, you can go. You don't have to enter your credit card. It's not enter your credit card and it's free for 6 months and then we're going to just start secretly billing you. We are not here. Ryan Mickler, myself, my other partners did not start M42 Adventures to get rich. I am already, financially stable. All my partners are. Ryan is. This is genuinely something that I am donating my time. I don't have to be here. I don't have to be on this microphone right now in front of a camera. I am doing this because I want to help inspire people to get off the couch. One of the new guys we just brought on is Dan Peterson. He's a therapist who specializes in your relationship with your children. And I know several people who have issues with their, teenage children. And I'm very excited about that one. I think that's going to help a lot of people. And so these people are donating their time to come in here and try to help you. And the reason they're doing it, they've all told me they want to help people. Dan wants to help people in their marriages and in their relationships. But also, just as importantly as that, they've all said to me, I want to go on adventures. I want to make friends with fun people. He knows Seth Studley. That's how I met him. Seth Studley's in here. He's been a therapist for, I don't even know, 12 years, something like that, a long time. He's got a podcast and very successful in his mental health and spirituality therapy. And so he came on. He brought Dan in. Dan is here because he wants to go on some hunts. He wants to help people. That's obvious. He's excited about that he can give back, and then it also gives back to him. And that's for me as well. I want to help people with their finances. I want to help them with their travel. And then also with doing that, I'm hoping that some of these people can come and go on adventures and travel with me. Let's go to Costa Rica together. Let's go to Alaska together. Come out to Utah and come do our side-by-side experience. Come do our horse experience. And so that is what the Genesis basically is. It is a community That's mission is to get people outside, off the screens. And I know this is kind of a funny thing because then we have an online, which is on screens. So it's not lost on me that that's funny. But that is what has to happen also. And then we're going to work on the fundamentals. We're going to work on the relationships. We're going to work on all the 4 pillars. And then we're going to get you out and get you inspired to go on your own hikes, go cook I actually had a buddy in San Diego that sent me a picture a few days ago. And he has had a fireplace in his condo in San Diego, California for 5 or 6 years. And he's never built a fire in it. And he sent me a picture and said, I just built my first fire in my condo. And he's a member of M42. He's a member of the Genesis. He's been following it since, its insertion. And my wife said to me, wow, did you see his post? And I said, yeah, I did. That's cool. And I says, what's cool about that? He built a fire. And she says, you can see that the M42 is having an effect on him. He didn't mention the Genesis. He didn't mention him. He didn't say I built a fire because of Rick or anything. But I guarantee you, if I talked to him and said, what made you think to build a fire? He would say, man, I've just been seeing what you guys are doing. You're outdoor cooking. You're, all these different things. And I thought it'd be cool to put, I don't know that for a fact, but I'm pretty certain that that's how that maybe subliminally went into his mind. And that's what my wife thought immediately as well. And so that's the thing, is if we can get people to just say, hey, maybe I can go buy a bow. My 13-year-old son, I've been trying to get him into archery for years. He's not interested. Again, he was young, so maybe that's a factor. But he listens to the podcast. He sees the life I'm leading and living by having a bow and going on these fun adventures with people that I really enjoy. And he went with his own money while I was on my food anniversary with my wife in Phoenix, went with my dad, his grandpa, and bought a bow with his money. And he doesn't have a lot of money. We're pretty tight on our chores. They got to earn it. And so it was a big chunk of his money, a big chunk. And he bought his own bow. And I says, why did you do that? And he says, I think it looks fun what you're doing. I want to learn. And I'd like to go to Hawaii with you someday. And I'm like, there you go. It's influencing people, and that's what this is about. So the Genesis is where we come together and we can get together, in chats. We're talking to each other all the time. And then that is going to go out into experiences into the world where we shake hands, we hug, we sit around a campfire, we, laugh in golf carts, we spend time, hiking through Zion. That's where it will come full circle. So yeah, good question. All right, let's see. I'm going to do 2 more here and we will call it. What's our time at, Chase?
We are at 37 minutes,
cool.
37 seconds.
Perfect. I usually like to go about 45 minutes here. So this one ties into that one. I actually didn't read ahead on this one. What's your vision for where the Genesis community will be in 5 years from now? I'm going to hit this one real quick. Just like my last one, right? Real quick, 20 minutes. 5 years, my hope is that there's thousands of people in here. My hope is that there's a mentor for every single channel. My hope is that we're doing hundreds of experiences all over the world. And these aren't experiences. My dad actually, he came to Africa on my M42 Africa experience this year. And he's been to Africa 3 times. This was his 4th. Him and my mom both came. And I says, I can't believe you're coming to Africa. You've been here 3 times. And he says, we're just signing up to support you. We just love supporting our children. We love travel. So, we've been to Africa. It's nothing new for us, but we're going to come go. And when he left, he says, that was different than anything I've ever experienced, in Africa. He says, honestly, I was thinking maybe you're kind of like a travel agent. And I says, good. I have no problem with you thinking that. But he says, when we were sitting, actually it was the last day we were there, we were sitting by the pool, and he says, this is way different than I had thought. And I says, what do you mean? And he says, all the things you've done here, it's a 5-star resort. The food was insane. The lodging that he has stayed at in the past wasn't this. The food wasn't this. We did a photo safari. We did a helicopter flight over Africa. We went to orphanages and donated. We actually went and just didn't hand them a check. We went shopping and bought grocery carts full of product, deodorant. Me and my kids, my wife, all the guests bought towels, feminine products, shampoo. Just tons of stuff. We took 24 soccer balls, M42 soccer balls that we had made, and we gave those to kids that are out there kicking, bundles of plastic. And so my dad says this was different. This was amazing. And so that's again, I digress, but the genesis, that's what I hope that this does in the next 5 years, is we have thousands of people that are in here that are talking, networking. One of the beautiful things about this is Damian Plotz. I'm going to use him for an example. He's out in, I think, Pennsylvania. I've never met him. He contacted me through the podcast. He said, I'm an ex-professional motocross rider, and I love what you're doing. I'd love to be involved somehow. We got him on as a mentor. I've talked to him dozens of times now. I can tell he's a good father. He's a good person. He's here trying to help people. He wants to go on his own adventures. And I guarantee you that if I ever am in Pennsylvania, I think that's where he's at. I might be wrong. Is that where he's at? Then I will go find him and we will spend the day together. We'll have lunch together. And that to me is amazing. I see Ryan with his community, and wherever he's at in the world, not in the world necessarily, I know he has worldly members, but mostly in the United States, but wherever he's at in the US, he could send a text out and say, hey, I'm in this town. I'm in, San Diego. Does anybody want to grab lunch in a couple days? My wife actually has a community, the Revitalized Womanhood, which is a branch, a spin-off, the women version of Order of Man, basically. Her and Ryan Mickler started that together a couple years ago. We had to change our travel plans. We were coming from Genoa, Italy, and we thought we were gonna come to port in New York, and we actually found out that the boat's gonna go to Miami. Well, she reached out to the women in her community and said, hey, I'm gonna be in Miami in 2 weeks. We were coming across the Atlantic. It was actually really cool. We kind of went the same exact path that Christopher Columbus did, because he's from Genoa. And she said, hey, would anybody want to meet me in, I can't remember, Fort Lauderdale, or no, Miami, and spend the night? I'll pay for the hotel room. We can get together, have dinner. And she had 5 women come that were in that area, Florida, drove out, and I took the kids, and we spent a couple days in our room and did our thing and went to the zoo or whatever. And she had these women come out, and they went to lunch and dinner and had some great conversations and worked. And it cost them gas money. We picked up the check because that's what we're passionate about. And so I'm really excited. I hope this turns into friendships all over the world for everybody, experiences that you're drawn to. I think a lot of people don't have access to try to get into bow hunting or get into mountain biking or get into golf. I enjoy golf. I've done it. But to go and golf in Scotland and figure that out is above my pay grade. So we have people in our company that are putting that together to where we're going to go there for a week. We're going to do some tourist attractions. We're going to eat great food, and we're going to golf several different golf courses. And then what people don't understand, the genesis and these online communities or these communities are so valuable because you make friendships, you make it's a byproduct. I always say people come, like I just went to Minnesota, and Minnesota was awesome. It was amazing. Had a great time hunting. But the value I get out of that is the week spent with 10 other amazing men. Like, honestly, I go there to hunt, but I look more forward to, sitting in the hot tub with these guys and sitting in the sauna and pheasant hunting and riding around in the trucks. So anyway, that's where I hope the Genesis goes. I'm very excited. I hope that it will, and I believe it will. It's not if, it's when. It's just going to take time, support, people sharing it, people joining, and that's why we waived the fee to make the entrance, nothing financial, and hopefully that will encourage people to come. And then also we're doing giveaways. There's some perks in there. You have first right of refusal for experiences. The 7 that we're doing in 2025 sold out in days. And so if you want to come and go on these experiences, I've had one of the questions earlier, the Godfreys. I told them what we're doing here, what we're up to. And they said, man, all 3 of them individually over the course of a week, randomly messaged me, text me and said, hey man, I want to hear more about the experiences. I'd love to go on an experience. I'd love to go on an experience. And I says, hey, they're sold out. I'm working on adding more, trying to figure that out with the staff that we have. It's hard, especially where we're waiving the fee on the Genesis, to be honest. We have bills to pay, but we're working on more. We're trying to add more, and we will. But that is people reaching out that want to go on these experiences. That's what I'm hoping this will morph into, and it is. And so it's not if, it's when. We just got to keep, pushing and going. All right, I'm going to answer one more question. Let's see. This is a good one to end on. What was your favorite adventure in 2024, and what are you looking most forward to in 2025? 2024 was a fun year. I went on 7 or 8 trips. I went to Alaska, Hawaii, Africa, trying to think, Costa Rica. I know I'm forgetting a couple, but anyway, we had fun. We always try to have a lot of fun. And probably the funnest adventure of 2024 for me was Africa. I had never been there, and it was an amazing, amazing experience. Took my wife, my pregnant wife, my 3 little boys, 12, 9, and 3. And my 2 boys were able to harvest their first ever animals in their life. A big deal. And spent time with my parents. My parents were both there. We had 22 people there. Ryan Mickler was there with his son. And it was life-changing. It was a very, very cool experience. If you can save the money up for that, I know it's expensive. Believe me, for 5 of us. But it was worth every penny. And that's one thing that I tell people. You'll never necessarily, if you can't afford it, don't go. But if you can afford it, try to make it happen, because I'll never remember the money and I will never forget the memories. And they can't, I had a lot of stuff repossessed when I went broke. They can't repossess my memories. So that helps out a lot. They can take your truck, they can take your house, but they're not going to take my memories of Africa. So I always try to spend memories over things. Christmas is coming up here in a couple weeks. I encourage people to be vigilant and smart. Don't fall into the traps of, corporate America and their marketing. Don't go get, buried in credit card debt. Little soapbox here or side note, but really, I think people would be happier and more fulfilled without the debt than with the things, with the big TV, with the fancy car. So be smart. Talk to your children. I told these people that I'm financially coaching, they're like, we're stressed about Christmas. We're not sure what we're going to do. Their kids are older. And I said, sit down your kids and talk to them and say, listen, mommy and daddy are tired of being broke and stressed out and in debt and, just at wit's end. So we're going to cut back a little on Christmas. Go do an adventure. Go hiking. Tell them we're going to go hiking and have a lunch outside and spend time as a family. And, whatever it is, like there's things you can do that don't cost a lot of money, but is very valuable. It's time together. And explain to them what you're doing and what you're trying to achieve, and that in a few years of living this way, this is how you can live later. And so anyway, side note there, but going into 2025, what am I most excited for as far as an adventure? This is kind of funny, but I'm most excited for my little girl. Get emotional. Gonna get me, Chase. Gonna get me. 3 boys, you can do the math, that it's, we're excited, 3 boys, and we finally got a little girl coming. She's going to be here in 3 weeks. Sorry. But that's, I get crying and I can't talk.
I like the emotion.
Yeah, it's real, man. That's, keep trying to bypass it a little bit, but yeah, that's what we're excited for. We're excited to, yeah.
What's the most exciting part, do you think?
I'm excited for my boys to see her. I'm excited for them to, they're as excited. We actually did the gender reveal in Africa.
Yeah.
So did you see that?
Yeah, I did. It was awesome.
It was amazing. So it was beautiful because the people there, we told them we were doing it. We made an M42 onesie in pink and blue. And the lady there, Lydia, she actually went and, Lita, she actually went and made a cake. And they got some fireworks and stuff. Anyway, it was a beautiful moment that I'll never forget. And so the boys are really excited to have a sister. And she's going to be spoiled. She's going to be protected. I pity the guy who tries to date her. But yeah, that's what I'm most excited for. And then, taking her on the adventures that we have planned. We have a lot of stuff, trips planned, but just time together, being healthy. That's what I'm looking forward to, and I hope that we can help other people be as excited as I am. I actually had a friend of mine, he's actually a partner in M42, but he is a friend of mine, Woody. He's grew up pretty poor, was struggling. He came to work here at the construction companies, worked hard, made some money, didn't go on a vacation for like 7 or 8 years. And this last year, he went to Alaska twice. He went on a personal trip, and then he came with M42 Adventures, and then he went to Africa. And in between, we did the two. We did the Alaska trip. He had done his Alaska trip, and then we were on our way to Africa. And he says to me, Rick, I never thought I could live like this. I never thought this was possible. And I've been financially coaching him, for the last 7-8 years. And he's got no debt, money in the bank, makes a good income, lives well below his means. And I encouraged him to go on these trips. And on our way to Africa, he says, I've never been this excited about life, and it really hit me hard because I think if you have these little beacons on the hill ahead of you, that it's like, hey, and even if it's just going to Vegas for the weekend or going to Phoenix. I just went to Phoenix with my wife for 3 days. That we planned that out for a couple months. We saved, we, thought about what we're going to do. We had date nights where we planned what restaurants we're going to eat at. That little trip gave us hours and hours of enjoyment and excitement and something to look forward to. And I think this is really healthy for marriages, is if you have nothing to look forward to and you're just buried in debt or just in a rut physically or whatever it is, I think if you can turn that corner and put something out on the hill or out on the horizon to look forward to, a firearm class, an outdoor cooking, adventure that you go out and cook in the mountains. I saw Chase, you went out and cut Christmas trees and made a cool little, little picnic.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, that didn't cost much.
No, it just took like a couple hours to build.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. But that's fun. That's an adventure. That's, that's part of it. But it's like, if you can start putting some of these things in place, and as they get bigger and bigger, and I don't mean necessarily more money, but maybe you go, on a road trip in a truck with a tent for a week, but you put that out 6 months and you say, hey, honey, or hey, husband, honey, either way, I guess works. We're going to save up. We're going to hit our goal. We're going to go on this trip. It builds an excitement and something to look forward to. I tell Gene all the time, if I didn't have these little breadcrumbs along the way to pick up that I'm looking forward to, Costa Rica and mine have gotten bigger, gratefully. But back in the day, it used to be, we're going to go camp, and then we're going to go deer hunting, and then we're going to go to Vegas for a night, and then we'll try to get down to San Diego. That was our big trip, was San Diego for a few nights. But those little things, even just going to the movie, like, hey, we're going to go to the movie next Saturday. I told my kids on Christmas Day, let's go see a movie. They're excited. They're like, that'll be fun. And that's
like
just
the only thing open.
Only thing open. But it's a tiny little thing that we all have. And I think that's and so that's what I'm excited for 2025 is all these adventures that I have planned. And my sincere goal is to help people come on them with us and go on your own. And through that, through whatever you're struggling with, the 4 pillars, we're going to try to, shore those up, make those more stable, and then get you on these. And like Woody, last few years have been going pheasant hunting or dove hunting. Now he's going on trips to Alaska and to Africa. And, and that's what's possible with this lifestyle. So, all right. I appreciate everybody listening today. I'm going to wrap this up. I hope everybody, you're not going to hear from me again until January. So I hope everybody has a Merry Christmas, a happy, what's the other one? New Year. Be safe. Spend time with your loved ones. Again, try not to spend a bunch of money so you're stressed out. Be smart. And just enjoy the holidays. Enjoy being with people that you love. It will pass. My grandparents are gone. I would give anything to spend another Christmas with them. So tell the people around you that support you, that you love them, that you appreciate them. Be safe. And hopefully we'll see you in the Genesis. I would love to meet you. I would love to correspond with you. I'd love to see you on an adventure of ours. And 2025, I'm excited about. We've got Chase here as the manager. I'm actually, as of yesterday, quote unquote, retired again. I'll continue to do the podcast and some of these little things that I do, but he's going to kind of run the boots on the ground as far as the day-to-day operations. And I'm going to go do the adventures. I'm going to go live. I'm excited to go live that lifestyle. I'm going to go out and hopefully join everybody on all of the adventures for next year. And I'm excited. M42 has just started. We're 9-10 months old. We started it in March of this year, and we're kind of finding our way. We're finding our getting our footing, and we appreciate the support that we've had so far. Montana Knife, our sponsor, Origin, our sponsor, all the people, the 100 plus people who came on adventures this year, the couple hundred that are signed up for next year. We sincerely appreciate all of you. We really do. It's hard to start a business, especially one that's out of your wheelhouse, where you've never been on a microphone, you've never been behind a camera. It's intimidating, and people are going to judge you. You're putting yourself out there, all the fun things, but it's worth it. I don't care what people think or what they say. I am here genuinely to try to change lives. I know Chase is, I know Ricky is, I know Ryan is, I know all these other people that are in our corner. And I want to say thank you for supporting us, for sharing our messages, talking about us, buying our apparel. We've got lots of orders that are going out today. And I'm excited for what 2025 is going to bring. I really hope that we kind of can now put the pedal to the metal here and crank this up a notch. And so appreciate you all listening. I will talk to you all next year. M42 Adventures, signing off.